Hello folks and welcome to the AOC Cybergamer Premier League Winter 2017. There's 15k up for grabs, a top 4 land spot taking place of course over in the studios in Adelaide. These teams, so much on the line. Goldie, you're going to be here to take me through a lot of the action tonight, bringing that Aussie knowledge to the table. Most importantly though, how are you feeling before we get right into this one?
Look, I'm feeling good. I'm also interested to see this game actually unfold, just due to the recent conflict within the Tainted Minds roster. Of course, we saw Sonic make his departure from the team, and of course, Offnu now come in from the previous Winter Fox roster. So for them, already we've seen it work out pretty well in their favor in the small amount of matches they've played. But going up against a team like Darksided, I'm very unsure of what to expect. I'd probably give it to Tainted 2-0, but Darksided, they're over in London just the other week, and they managed to put up decent scores against teams like Godsend, so really anything could happen, but I'm still going to give it to Tainted 2-0.
Yeah, I certainly feel like, I kind of understand where the vibe you're trying to hit towards is landing, but at the end of the day, we've got to go live. This match has got to get going, and it is going to be Darksided over on this T side, of course. Kevlar being brought up pretty much across board, with Dick actually taking a bit more of the utility-based role. He's going to buy a lot of flashes as well, and that's going to be something that will lend towards this A-contact play, with Underpass being one of their key points of attack right now as they set themselves up through Connector. The attack does come in thick and fast. Texter is going to fire off a few shots with his Glock, but they're not quite connecting up until one is going to be claimed. Infrequent the first to fall. Offnu and Flix both checking up for just another few frags. Flix finding himself a double kill as he begins to up the pace, leaving Offnu and Liaz the last two left standing. They've got themselves a tough spot to work their way out of here on the CT side.
Yeah, Tainted being locked out. Liaz, though, with an excellent pistol headshot, allows him to sort of squeeze his way in, do a little bit more damage, and the bomb will be attempted to be planted here. We're going to see a player look to try and work his way around. That will be Flix. Whereas Texter and Sync sitting towards the sniper's nest area mid, trying to lock in Offnu. Eventually, Sync will take the kill. That'll leave it all on Liaz. We've seen him do immense work before. Will he be able to clutch this one out, though? It's looking unlikely as he makes his way out towards the jungle area now. Has to push in, knows where one player is, but he's very cautious. Hears him out towards his left, so he's got a general idea of where one player is, but still a lot more left to find, and he's got to be absolutely locked in here. Sync, he'll take him down, and it's a very quick round from Darksided, putting on that offensive pressure early on and shutting Tainted out of it.
Yeah, it was very nice from Flix. He just basically converted a complete pivot for Darksided, because the round went from being, okay, they were finding a few tray picks in there, here and there, blows were being exchanged, suffice to say. But Flix really kind of turned the tables with that double kill, and that was a big impact play all in all. Darksided, they have the pistol, now they have the weaponry to boast about it too. The Galils, the UMPs, they all enter the fold. Tainted Minds, they're up against a bit of a brick wall here, at least in the early few next rounds. As Darksided, they want this 3-0. It's something they've done quite a lot in the past, really just try and link them together, because who doesn't want it at the end of the day? It's a win-win for every team out there.
Yeah, we are going to see Darksided set up across the map, look to gain some map control. Stacy looks to try and push towards mid here, very unsure of whether he should peek with that UMP. Won't have to face a scout out towards mid. Tainted haven't made that early investment. Instead, we'll choose to just hang on to their money. 3 Deagles and a CZ is the weaponry of choice. Infrequent sticking to the USP, presumably saving for the AWP later into the match. The mid smoke will allow Dick Stacy to push out towards this mid area. Spots the player out towards this sniper's nest, but Infrequent, he finds the first point of contact and will actually damage up Dick Stacy. What more can he do? Offnu will get tagged down. Eventually, Infrequent takes the kill, and a huge mistake from Darksided already. This could lead to their downfall. Now trying to get out towards the A site, but Liaz, he's going to find an excellent headshot. Badge attempts to do something. He will fall as well, as somehow Tainted bring it back now onto a 2v4. Will Darksided be able to clean things up? Bring it back to a 2-on-3, looking a lot better suddenly. Infrequent with that UMP does hear a player out towards his left, sitting out towards that Tetris area. Texter with a beautiful kill. They're bringing it back. Darksided, a rough start to the round, but somehow now they even things out.
Beginning to work around the smoke. Texter is going to step further forward, takes down Liaz now, looking for the final frag required up one towards stairs, goes for the shot, doesn't quite connect the headshot, but still has more left in his mag. He is going to let rip, and Texter, he clutches it out with a triple kill in that round. The saving grace for Darksided, as these Aussies, they will walk further. Just another step, a 2-0 for them. Tainted Minds going to be licking their wounds off the back of that, as a devastating loss for them for all intents and purposes, as they made some great stuff happen with those pistols. But they couldn't quite close it out. That's where they fell short. And Darksided now, they get to start to run away with this one, as the weaponry well and truly favours them going to this round. Tainted Minds have just got to relax a bit now. The kind of win condition of the Deagles and such, it's all but disappeared. We're in the land of the P250s, the land of the USPs. This isn't looking very free for them. It's much more shambolic. This should, for all intents and purposes, be a very easy 3-0 now for Darksided. Tech 9 going to be faced. Flicks looking for a bit of easy damage.
And what surprised me in that previous round is the fact that Tainted, they were posted up in perfect position, sitting at close range. They had the man advantage as well, but they just walked into crosshair of Darksided. They didn't have the patience to follow through with their advantage in that previous round. And instead now find themselves on another eco round, but that's another good start from Chuck. Able to get that headshot on towards Texter. Dick Stacy flanking in from Connector, gets himself a kill as well. Badge up towards short, spots the player towards Snipers. That's an excellent position. That will allow him to find the kill. Now onto a 4v3, and all players for Tainted Minds set out towards the A site.
Bubsy going to be nice and careful here. Finds himself just another nice trade comes in from Sync, actually. A lot of damage being done. You got to give credit where credit is due to Tainted Minds, making kind of some sick work out of this round. But the trades are still coming back to haunt them, and that's unfortunately where the cookie will crumble. Darksided 3-0, having to rebuy up a fair bit going to this round. And did Flicks not pick up that AK? That's a misplay there. Unfortunately, it looks like he just didn't have a second to spare in terms of picking up that rifle, and is stuck with just the lesser variant, the Galil.
Not too much of a concern though, as the money's still looking pretty good for them. Of course, it would have been preferable to get that AK in that round, but nonetheless, Tainted Minds, they now go on to a buy round, and this is where we could see things begin to crumble for Darkside. We'll have to see though. This has been pretty consistent from them. Mirage being one of their best maps, of course, could play towards their favour here, going very slowly across the map. Tainted Minds, they try to pick for some information towards the short area, coming off the back of Leaz. He can't spot anything, instead falls back, pre-fires towards the apartments area, and it seems like they're just desperate to get these kills there. Texture and Sync flashed up. Not sure who that flash was from. Dick Stacy pushes out from the top mid area. No one there to guard things for Tainted Minds, allowing them that mid control early on. Now gets Darksided in a much more preferable situation here. Going to push their way down, slowly closing in on things and gaining that map control. Bomb still sat towards the back of map. 2 players towards B for Tainted Minds. A couple players in Frequent and Chutch looking to try and just close down towards the mid area. Texter gets aggressive towards this Connector's place, but instead will find himself caught off by the smoke. Has to stay there and hold his ground for the time being, taking things slowly. Eventually it will fade, and this is where he's going to have to do damage. Spots the first, rips his head off, looks for a second now, can't take it. Dexter there with a trade. Flicks, moving his way in, is able to quickly trade once again. Now back to a 4v2. What can Tainted Minds do? This is the first gun round they've proved to impress so far. I should say failed to impress so far. As Ofnu eventually finds that kill. Now it could be a little more hopeful for the Tainted Minds side, but still a lot of work to do. A player towards B and a player towards A, and the bomb shall go down to the A side.
Yeah, the smoke in CT is a very serious problem, though, for Tainted Minds. Sure, you can have a bit of hope, but you've got to grab at it with both hands, not be hesitant. And right now, that's something that Tainted Minds are kind of on the latter side of. They're just sort of stumbling around mid, sort of seeing if they can get themselves in the right positions, but they're worrying so much about being in the right place, they're not actually getting anything done, and that means that they have to back away from this, they have to concede. And Darksided, they will walk away with a 4-0 start up against their opposition, with further damage being done. Sinking his rifle just being so trusty as he punishes Infrequent, and it is looking pitch perfect from this Darksided lineup, because they get to do even more damage after this round begins to end.
Yeah, and for me, I knew Darksided, this was their strong map, of course, but I expected Tainted Minds to have a little bit more retaliation instead, and constantly forced back into difficult situations, losing players early on, and even when they do get the advantage, they allow Darksided to find the openings, get on the flank, sneak up through Connector, take a player towards stairs, take him down, and basically even things out straight away. So for Tainted Minds, it's been a constant uphill battle, and not what I expected from them so far going into this map. Of course, Darksided, it's their strong map, but you would have expected a bit more from Tainted Minds. Now, back to an eco once again. Ofnu, able to save that AK-47 from the previous round, will help him going forward, but really, will it be enough for his side? He's going to have to do wonders to hold on to that weapon going forward, and it's most definitely needed here for Tainted Minds.
Very early days into this round. Tainted Minds haven't really gained too much just yet, but they're being very passive. They're trying to lock down these sites. It's almost like they are prison wardens trying to escape from their own cells. Bit of a role reversal there for this CT side, but they've got to make it work. They've got battens after all. They can start to slam away. Well, when will that lockdown come in? Darksided, they should be able to inflict it relatively easily, considering the weapon mismatch. But something tells me there's something bigger going on here. So when that deagle peeks on short, a headshot could come in, and that starts to cause panic in the side of these terrorists, and that's where things will really begin to go awry. But Texter, he peeks shorts, and Leaz, he gets punished, so the headshot doesn't come in. Bubsy does try and go for the trade, though, and there's that double kill. That's exactly what we're talking about, as it is going to be just another frag to be claimed. Ofnu and his rifle takes down Texter, and this is what we were scared of. Tainted Minds, they wake up out of nowhere. These pistols start to chime in. And Dark-Sided, they're left at a pretty significant disadvantage. Another mid-peak comes in. The Deagle's going to spam on away. Bubsy allowed to walk on away from that one, still standing. Dexter and his CZ, close range, takes down Willem. And this is looking so difficult now for Flix to make work as he pushes up the stairs, at least secures the trade. But he's got so much to achieve here. It's being spread so thin. 15 seconds left on the clock. Goes for the smoke. Needs to reactively get that bomb down. But does he have the time to clutch this one out? The bomb ticking on away off Nu, holding that headshot angle. It's a done deal.
And finally, Tainted Minds find that discipline to pull themselves forward. Just then, you know, earlier on into that match, they would have gone for something a bit more aggressive and tried to deny the bomb plant, but instead, they waited for it to come out. And then, you know, Dark-Sided, they already have a lot of money that's going to do no real damage if we even try and stop that bomb plant. We'll wait it out, try and secure the round as easy as we can, and that's what they've been able to do. Tainted Minds now returning to a bit more what we'd expect from them. Dark-Sided, their money won't be an issue for the time being. They can get another buy going into this round as Text also gets himself an AK there with a bit of money left over. Tainted Minds, however, not looking too strong from them. They've worked pretty hard to manage to get this buy out. They still have around 5k and 3k on Ofnu and Chutch. 3k on Infrequent as well. So going forward, if they can secure another round, it should be very advantageous for them. We're going to see Dark-Sided go out towards mid here. First point of contact should be Leia, set out towards short. Interesting position to hold. Look through the gap in the smoke. Is able to get a dink and takes down Dick Stacy early on. Not a good start for Dark-Sided. And now we're seeing some of that early confidence begin to shrivel away into the secrecy of the back of the map. As already we're going to see Texer able to return things. So a bit of a better start now from what we initially saw. Chutch will fall. Dark-Sided, they do have that mid-control, but now, Tainted Minds, this is where they've proven to struggle so far in this map when Dark-Sided get that mid-control and they're just locked into sights because they tend to get too aggressive, go for an overpeak, overextend, fall. So maybe they'll be able to try and fix up some of the mistakes that we've seen previously and go with a little bit of a different mindset into this round.
40 seconds left, still a lot that can be done, but for sure, mindset has to play a part, but aggression is also just another key part of that all, and Willem, he plays for the bigger picture. He gets the AWP pick on towards Ofnu, and that starts to change things. It pushes them up on towards this B site, but they don't know the position of Liaz, and that's a problem. How with the crossfires in check, they can handle it anyway. You throw anything at them, they'll throw it right back at you. As Dark-Sided, they get themselves 2 picks on the site, they get the bomb plant to follow on up, and leaves Dexter all alone, a million places to check, and not much he can really do. Another easy one for Dark-Sided, and most importantly, a crushing one for the Tainted Minds economy, as they are going to be left trying, begging for every penny they can find.
That's exactly what I talked about before here. As Tainted Minds, they lose that advantage once again. Not looking good for them now. It's just going to be down to Dexter holding on to the M4. Could find play out towards A main, but instead Flix will retreat. Not going to try and challenge it. Just smart of him. Still going on the hunt. Doesn't quite know where Dexter is. But Dexter, he's got that freedom to sit back now. Sit close towards the B side. Look for an exit frag. It's unlikely that he'll find one, but nonetheless should be able to hold on to that M4, which should help Tainted in the recovery process. Now going to this next round, you look at the economy. It's not looking too bad. You got Chutch. It's around 6.6k, Ofnu on 5k, Infrequent at 4k, Dexter on 2k. So should be enough to force out another buy, even if it is a bit of a weak one here going into this round. But Tainted, will this recovery process help them at all? Because Dark-Sided, they're starting to pull themselves ahead. Tainted, they got one round, but Dark-Sided, they've been a constant force to be reckoned with, and Tainted haven't been able to keep up in the long run.
It seems like there's some very close swing right now, momentum. Dark-Sided, they've taken control. We did see at least one coming from Tainted Minds to imply where at least there was something they could make work, but problem is, it's all going one direction now, and again, it has to change. We have to see that pivot come in from these CTs, because they're just getting railroaded for all intents and purposes. Slowly but surely, this T-side just going to inch out control of the map, looking to basically play a pretty hardy default. 2 players mid, one just holding off ramp or palace. His job is to pretty much decide himself whether he's going to be dealing with those spots. He's got his teammate as well this time to back him up, but the late rotate obviously will come in to go and further support B or mid, and it all leads up to them making the decision of, okay, we've got all this information, we've made all of these tiny little minute pushes, where do we actually want to hit towards? What's the real plan? Tainted Minds, they want to push them, they want to shut them down before they can get to that point, so they go aggressive. Problem is, the trades do come in, and going 1-for-1 with the T side, That's only good for Darksided. They'll make it work as they barrage their way out on towards B. Sync gets himself another frag on towards Legaz, and this is looking so simple for Darksided, as this retake is going to be a very tough task.
Yeah, already securing that B site now. Off new attempts to push the smoke, will spot out a player, doesn't take the shot just yet. Instead, we'll try out his patience instead. Eventually goes to that shot, the flashbang. Will try and lock him out momentarily. Attempts to try and retreat, only narrowly gets out, but he's got flicks to find. An excellent play from Darkside to lock that player in. Dexter, the last one left, has to find this AK kill to try and hold on to things. They know where he is. The hunt should be coming into play, considering Darkside's economy is looking pretty good. Will they be able to lock him in the end? He will get that first headshot. A good shot from him, but needs to get more here. So don't be surprised if Darksider went on the hunt. Are they going to go for anything? No. Instead, Dexter will run out of this round with that AK, but very, very, very narrowly at that. Darksided once again managed to put another round on the board, and it's not looking good for Tainted Minds. Constantly getting locked out of these sites, overextending and putting themselves in a very difficult situation to recover from, not only in the play-wise, but also economy-wise.
Few pushes will come in here and there. A lot of it comes down to mid-control. Yet again, the trades come in just as quick for Darkseid as they have done before, but start to really fall out of control when Dick just goes on a tear, finds himself as easy as anything double kill. Lias does find another with his USP, but Lias, that's not quite enough. You tried so hard, but at the end, it doesn't matter. As Darkseid, they go 7-1 up in this game. Right now, looking like they are just clearly the better team. As Tainted Minds are struggling, falling up by a landslide almost now. They call a pause, and about damn time too. But they've only got 180 seconds, and that's not much time.
Yeah, you'd think that pause would have been called early on to try and break up the momentum and rethink their strategies, but it hasn't been done so, and eventually Tainted Minds notice there has been a flaw in their play system, and now need to look over it and figure out where they've been going wrong. And for them, it's just been sticking to the sides so much. Even when they go for that aggression, they overextend and end up just getting shut down by Darksided, which allows them to just stomp onto a site and take it over, you know, just try and shuttle out that last remaining player on the site and just take it from there. Whereas Tainted, you know, they haven't been able to do anything. They've been forced out, just locked into these bad situations. That's not been good for them. This is where they need to change things up, stand their ground a little bit more and do a bit more damage. Darksided, they're going to be feeling confident going forward. This is their strong map, and with a score like this, you can't blame them for thinking that.
What else do they change, though? I think you have to look towards, again, that kind of bigger picture here. One round isn't going to do that much for them right now. They can, you know, you see it with a lot of teams. They call attack pause, they make a improvement, but they can't follow on forward with it. They can't chain it together. So what is the big change, Goldie? Is it the problem with the way they just hold their sights? I feel like they're giving Darksided the ability to be aggressive time and time again. I mean, we shouldn't be seeing 3 frags every round take place in mid, for example.
Yeah, so that's it. Tainted Minds, they get too aggressive, they get into bad situations. Darksided, as they eliminate that one player, then there's hardly any defense left to either of the sites. You know, you look at B side, there's been numerous occasions where there's been one player. On the A side even, there's been numerous occasions where there's only been one player. So Tainted Minds, when they lose that initial player, they're forced to spread their resources across the map. And Darksided, that leads to be highly advantageous for them, as they can just choose where they want to go. No real encounters needed. Can just walk out, stomp things over. So for Tainted, I think it's just more discipline, sitting back and not losing the kills early on.
Should be able to hold on to this angle. Palace is going to be held in check for now. Flick's looking like he wants to peek it, though, and that could lead to a gunfight that potentially starts to give Tainted Minds that chance for that round, as they'll already be able to get themselves their first pick. Of course, you do have Texter over in ramp. His job will be to find the trade the minute Flix does fall. But that's assuming that Flix loses that fight as well. There are a lot of different variables that come into play right now, as we have to just wait it out. These two teams both really playing the time right down to the merry end. As a smoke will come in towards window, this is going to prompt Dick to begin to work up through mid yet again. As Darksided, they are just going to tread water, nice and comfortably, nice and relaxed. No real pressure on their shoulders right now being put by Tainted Minds, as they've basically been given mid on a silver platter.
And they have taken it, and now look to try and push forward. Chutch we'll try and pre-fire out towards from connected. Dick Stacy will get aggressive, eventually cross towards the bottom side of mid, looking to find that initial encounter. No one going to be spotted just yet. Flix attempts to come out from Pels, Has to find this player, sat towards the ninja position, will be able to take it, and Frequent falls back to help out his teammate, will be able to find the trade. Looks like Chuch actually spotted a player towards the left side of Connector, but might not have shown up in his vision, and Frequent, however, going huge in this round. 2 kills already, make it 3. What more can he do here? And eventually Badge will drop. Tainted Minds, they put something on the board, and it was much needed at that. Going forward, we need to see more of this. An excellent hold down towards that A side, cleaning things up one by one. They gave up mid, but instead of going for the aggressive pushes to try and retake it, they let Darkside walk into their crosshairs, and that's what we need to see more of.
Gotta start somewhere. That's their launch pad. They're gonna try and build off of this now. Moving slowly up towards mid again. Dick trying to see if he can find anything there. Expecting aggression. Which you can see that by the use of his utility. A frag grenade as well. Nice actually on towards Flicks. That's gonna knock him down to 58 HP as Darkside really are thinking that Tainted Minds are gonna walk into their crosshairs. But that isn't gonna be the case. Instead, a very passive setup. Bubsy is going to check towards underpass, but right now, I kind of like this from Tainted Minds. I think this is a much better improvement. They seem to just out of nowhere have an idea of what Darkside are actually getting on with. And once they kind of acknowledge the plays that are being made, improvement is certainly there. Dick, though, does get the drive-by headshot on the end because Dexter makes one subtle mistake. He finally gives in to the temptation that I should really peek mid, and the minute he does that, it removes everything we just said. As temptation, it's something you can't give into. You've just got to give up. Just got to walk away and not let it take control.
That urge to overextend has overcome Tainted Minds so far in this match, and it's been their downfall. Once again, Texter finding a kill off of overextension by Chuch. Not looking good for Tainted Minds, and Frequent also attempts to go for an aggressive peek towards Connector from Ticker Booth. Can't find anything. And now, Tainted Minds, their resources are limited. One player towards each part of the map. One towards B, one towards A, one towards the middle area. Often has to fall back. Texter getting aggressive towards Connector. Just going to shift walk through. Now in an excellent position here. Should be able to get in behind these players out towards B. This looks like Infrequent has been able to spot him out. Needs to check his CT area here. Should find contact and is able to find the kill off of it. Offnu and Liaz doing damage here. Bring it back. Now it's in a 2v2. Interesting situation. Tainted Minds, an excellent sight hold coming off of Liaz. Can he get any more? Eventually gets another. What are you doing, Liaz? 3 kills for him. Now just has to find Badge. Sat up towards the apartments area and he will hold on to that AWP. It is not worth risking. The money's still looking somewhat usable for Darkside. So he'll be thinking, we just need to hold on to this. Try and get a buy coming into the next few rounds. Possibly this round. Have a look at that money. It doesn't look like it'll be that just yet. And Tainted, they finally put some pressure towards this dark-sided team.
They appear to have woken up. I'll give you that. But I want to see more from them. 3 rounds. It's no half. They've got to get themselves at least a 5. I mean, you look at them right now. They're still having to invest pretty much every pretty penny they've got as well. Meaning they're not building up their economy. Thankfully, they do have a free round here. Because dark-sided, they are very, very limited. But at the same time, these Kevlar, backed by Tech 9s, of course, they're pretty lethal. And Dick proving that point. Liaz, though, nice shot right through the wood, penetrating onto Willem. There's the trade, but that's a rookie mistake from Infrequent, giving it up to Texter, allowing him to run riot with his AWP.
And now we're going to see these dark-sided players go out towards the B side. Liaz, once again, being a stronghold in that defense. He's almost able to get the second cart forward up with the shots. However, as Flicks will be able to find that P250 kill. Liaz, eventually he falters now. Allows dark-sided an opening. Offnu on the flank. Coming up towards the apartments area. Should be able to find some damage. We will see Church out towards the short area now. Who is that set up close? That will be Flicks out towards the short area as well. So pretty good post-plant positions from Darkside, but they've got a lot to find. He will hit Chuch now. Peeks around the corner, gives us away his position now. Flicks will be able to spot out a second. They know where both of them are, but it's all going to be down to Sync. What can he do? Has that Tech 9, gets the first. Now Chuch on 17 HP, and somehow it's looking a bit more likely here for Darkside Sync. And he gets the second. Excellent plays from him. Manages to clutch it out. 8-3, Darkside proving their dominance once again, and shut Tainted out of it completely.
Starting to wake up those Tech 9s. I talked about how lethal they could be, but it's almost a bit of a poisonous element, right? You think about it as, you know, it could be a risk, it could potentially harm you, but at the same time, you always think, you know what, that'll never happen to me. I'll never be struck by that. But just as when you think you aren't, you certainly will be. Tainted Minds kind of getting walked all over. I'm not all that excited by them right now. That's disappointing, to be honest. I wanted to see some real close Counter-Strike, but this still feels like one team are in control. As Dick is just getting to run riot in window. Finally, Infrequent does secure the trade after plenty of taps of the USP. But they're still going to lose a lot of their manpower. It is just pistols, and that's pretty tough for them. Infrequent, another headshot on towards Sync actually is much better. But do they have the trading prowess here? No, they simply don't. Outgunned, outmanned, walking out on sight. Simple as anything.
That's been the story for the majority of the match. Tainted Minds, even when they do get a couple of those eco frags, they can never follow things up just due to their firepower. But Ofnu finds a lovely headshot with the deal. Maybe I might be proven wrong in towards this round. Badge will attempt that wallbang. Find anything off of it. Infrequent now with the AK-47 going on the flank towards A-main, trying to pinch these players in. Looks like Offner, who'll just fall back for the time being, rotates towards the sniper's nest position to look to go for some form of a play. Infrequent with a flashbang and a smoke. Should see that be used any second now. We'll be able to find the kill. No, Tex is set out towards the Tetris area. They know his position now. It doesn't look like they know where Badge is. Offner, he's got nothing to lose. He'll just go for it. Spots out the first. Can't connect the shot. Has to follow things up and narrowly avoids the AWP shots now. Looks for the second towards Badge. But no, he'll take him down. Dark-sided clinical plays from them. 9-3 is the scoreline. Looking to edge out the half. And Tainted Minds, they're not even in here.
I mean, Goldie, give me a number. What number do you think Tainted Minds need to win this? Because this first half, I'm not too surprised if it goes 12-3 at this point. Really starting to feel like a bit of a leading Tower of Pisa right now. This game just further going to its side. Lapsing play from the CTs leads to devastation repetitively.
Yeah, well, look, for me, it's just going to come down to Tainted Minds' T side. I have a feeling it's a bit stronger than their CT side, but really, at a scoreline like this, you can't give up so many rounds in towards your CT half. So going forward for them, I'd still expect Darkside to take it. I'm going to give it 16-6, 16-7, around that margin. That's my prediction. But it all comes down to Tainted Minds' T side in the end, and because their CT side has been abysmal so far.
But with that, what comes hand in hand with talking about their T side is they need enough rounds to demonstrate it. And if it is truly a 12-3 half, they may not get many a buy if the pistol favors Dark-sided. So there's a lot of things that are up in the air right now. There's a lot of different variables that could affect this outcome. So folks, don't go anywhere. Don't start tuning out because you think this is a stomp, because we don't just know. But within the next few rounds, we will find out. As it is going to be pushing connector, the fan was beginning to rip away at the seams. Bubsy making something out of this so far, but then there's the trade. Flicks and his AK-47. Dexter about to be caught out and potentially shadows. The Molotov will force him to run back to site. Now we will look up towards Palace. Liaz as well doing work in mid to deny any sort of aggression in connector just yet, as often is going to support. But they've got to be careful. But they are combining the frags. This is looking better as Dick should be taken down by Offnu. And that's where they have their win condition now. Liaz getting the final frag needed. Tainted Minds, they move on to 4.
If they can secure 1 or 2 more rounds here in this half, that'd be huge for them. Because if you know, it's a lot different going from what a 12-3, something like a 9-6 half. It is a huge difference. So if Tainted Minds can bring it back here, that's going to help them immensely going in towards this next half and might just project them forward. Try and close things out against Darksided, who are now onto an eco round. So it's looking likely that Tainted will take another, but we'll have to see. Could we be seeing a 10-5 half, a 9-6 half? It's looking very likely at this stage. A sudden turnaround from Tainted Minds, and a good one at that.
Surprising what one round can really do, as it did affect the Darksided economy on a fairly significant scale. But, judging by what Texter was just able to do, not going to write them off just yet. Bubsy, however, with his M4, is going to start to lock things down, just tapping away towards Connector, dealing with that sporadic jungle push. Dick, through the smoke in his Tech 9, though, leads for just another frag. Sync, now going to dive on through, trying to take down Bubsy. If he can punish him, this is winnable. As they take man control, they get themselves on the site. The bomb going to go down any second now. Willem is in a 1v1 duel, taps away on Offnu. This is looking disastrous. A full buy up against P250s. The P250s coming out on top.
It's just that inconsistency now from the Tainted Minds side. I would not have given Darksided that round in a million years. If you went up against this Tainted Minds squad a couple months ago, towards January of this year, then it would have been a completely different result. Things have certainly turned around from them. They'll still be trying to adapt to having Offnu and Dexter in towards the roster. Of course, Dexter being in there for a couple months now, but Offnu a much newer addition. So for them, this will be an adjustment period, whereas Darksided, their roster's been pretty consistent. The other real move is Dick Stacy coming in full-time as a core player, but apart from that, for them, it's been very, very consistent. So they'll be able to build themselves up, whereas Tainted Minds still a long period of adjustment. Going in towards the second half, though, Tainted Minds are going to have to see things step up. Like, you can't allow Darksided to win those rounds where they're just on pistols and, you have full rifles, because that just turns the economy around. Look at Tainted Minds now. They don't have a single player above 2.5k yet. It's not looking good for them.
It's just rookie mistakes, really, isn't it? Unfortunately, it's a second or third time now they've lost against pistols. I think third maybe pushing it a little bit, but second definitely. And it is just being a bit of a rookie team on that regard. And I'm not putting down Tainted Minds in terms of the bigger picture, but Mirage, seemingly they're just mistakes are there that allow those rounds to happen. Hopefully we can see some improvements. They can compete for a 10-5 here, and that would be very impressive for them. But the mismatch in weaponry, I feel like it harms them much more than it's harmed Darkseid in the past, evident by those few rounds. But a select few does not define our generation, and that's going to be something Tainted Minds will live up to as they push on through in towards Palace and they get themselves an early frag.
And one thing I'd like to point out is just this team, in no terms, a rookie team. They've been around for a long time. Their core players have been together for a long time as well. But something just seems to be up with them these past couple of weeks. Maybe it's having their IGL Sonic be taken out of the team, or left the team, I should say. So for them, to try and build things back up will be difficult going forward, but I wouldn't place them as a rookie team. Nonetheless, they pull things back now. It's all down to Texter. Very interesting rounds, to say the least. It's been very back and forth. Darksided win their pistol rounds. Now Tainted Minds win their pistol rounds. So 10-5 is the scoreline at halftime, and a lot different from what we initially expected.
What this means is that it's not impossible for them to walk away with a victory out of this game. It just comes back to a statement that you made kind of halfway through, which is that their T-side has to be impeccable. They cannot afford a single mistake now. There can be no more rookie issues here and there. There can be no more divide because of a lack of IGL or any leading voice. It has to be perfect. In this round, they got utility on Ofnu, Kevlar on every other player. Darkseid opting for just 5 sets. They're literally banking on aim alone here. That gives a very distinct impression of kind of how they think they're going to be able to close out this game, not needing kits or anything of the sort. Tainted Minds just going to plow out on towards this A site, taking shots, not actually getting frags. The retake setup now having to come in towards A, which, with a lack of kit, will prompt Darkseid to have to go very quick and aggressive, but Tainted Minds making it simply easy for them to force connector fights, but at the same time, CT also going to roll in as Infrequent will get himself a swift little double. Dexter charming with a headshot on towards Texter. Dick will find himself a trade, but a little too late as Ofnu should be able to mop him right back up again, leaving Tainted Minds a pistol win.
Like I said in that previous half, it comes down to Tainted Minds' T side, and now going into it, it's looking strong already. The aggression that they attempted to display in the CT side didn't work out for them, but now going on to the T side, it helps them to flourish in this environment, and already it's looking good for them. Still early on into the half, we are going to see Darksided pick up a scout on the second round, something that I would have expected Tainted to do, which they didn't in their first half, but now we are going to see them try and get that mid-aggression. They can hear those scout shots. That prompts them to take things a little bit more carefully, but still, you're going to see an aggressive peek out towards short. That will be Badge. He falls back. Can't find damage with the Deagle. That already puts Darkseid in a difficult situation as Tainted Minds gain that map control slowly, shutting these players out from their aggressive positions. Ofnu going towards the underpass area as well, looking to find that aggression, possibly find some early damage and clear out connector for his squad. Well, they sit towards top mid. He hears the scope towards Sniper's Nest. That's a good start for the Tainted Minds side. They have the information early on. They know that they have a sniper rifle of sorts. They will be able to take that early damage. Somehow, Ofnu gets dinked up and he's forced to fall back. So, this mid control, although they have it, it's not looking to be that great for them as they're still taking damage.
They are crossing on towards the site. Another frag to be found as well. The Galil doing work with the headshots. The trades are looking, but they're not actually being connected, and that's a problem. As it is going to mean that Tainted Minds will get just another. As the bomb is going to go down on Flicks, there really is no chance for him to find anything flare-based with this scout. No crazy headshots, no 180s. It's going to be him having to back away in a corner. Bit of push, no shove. As it is going to be Darksided, starting to lapse at least, by Tainted Minds being able to link together a pistol win. As this will be 7-10, starting to really make this game much more competitive now. Which I'm glad to see. I wanted to see more of Tainted Minds. Hopefully their T-side is their saving grace, but we have to see now a first buy from them to really get an idea of what it's all going to be about.
And this is what we've come to expect from Tainted Minds. The first half we saw a lack of personality, but they're back. They're making things competitive, like you said. It's heating up here. As 10-7 will be the scoreline. Tainted Minds carrying over the majority of their weapons in the round, and Flicks goes down. So the scout is lost for Dark-Sided. Not looking good for them. The economy is weakened, and they're going to have to save another round if they want to buy going into the 4th round. But Tainted, they can just relax. They can pick up those SMGs, the lower-end rifles. They can tap heads, just try and clean things up as quick as possible. It looks like it's going to be an A stack for the most part. 3 players divert over towards mid, as they all actually go out towards mid. We are going to see Tainted have free reign to get towards the A site. The smokes will be heard, and that prompts a rotation from Darksided to get themselves back in there quickly. Shut out by the smokes, however, and that will not be helpful for them. Only one upgraded pistol bought, and that's a P250, so no doubt Tainted shall take this round. There is no possible way Darksided can even get a foot into this round. Maybe do a bit of damage, but surely nothing. They're too real dangerous for Tainted Minds. It's already Darksided are prompted to try and get out of the site.
That bomb is going to tick on away, of course, and it does basically just hand over another round. Which is really what matters here, to be honest. This Mac 10 is trying to farm up some money. Denied, though, by Darksided, who are playing very far back and not really taking a lot of these fights. Often, however, with his UMP will find one, but damage being done as Texter, nice and patient, waits for Liaz to walk into his crosshair, takes a few shots, and a head will roll. This is where TM, they learn their lesson. They walk away and they don't take fights anymore, as they can't afford to lose all this weaponry. They really need to build up their economy towards the latter end of this game.
Yep, Tainted Minds realised their mistakes a bit too late, however, as they lost 2 players in that round. But 10-8 is the scoreline. They've built up their economy for the most part, and it's looking a bit better from them from what we saw in the first half. The T side being a lot more immaculate from what we saw on the CT side. Darksided are unable to put any rounds on the board so far, but now going to the gun round, it looks a bit more hopeful for them. Tainted Minds look to go towards the A site. 3 players towards Palace, a player in A main, and the player in mid. Trying to close things out, go for that split play, as already the players file out of Palace. Have to find Flicks, who's in an interesting position. He's able to get one. Can he find that second? No, he can't. Whiffs those shots, and now Tainted Minds can mop up these kills. Get the bomb down here. Gonna smoke off towards CT. A couple players pushing in from jungle, but Tainted Minds are gonna lock down on this round as Dexter finds 2. And now it's all gonna be out to Badge. Has to retreat with that M4. Try and hang on to things. Finds a kill actually, and goes for that mid-peak. Probably not what Dexter would have been expecting, but now he retreats towards the B site and gets the hell out of there.
Another strong round coming in from Tainted Minds, really starting to make something of their T-side at this point, and kind of living up to exactly what you hope towards, them having a strong terrorist performance. It's really just that simple. There is no better way of putting it. There is no darting around the bush. It is what it is. Darksided, now when they start to struggle, this is when we get to see really what they're made of as well, bear in mind, because everything in this game so far has been pretty damn easy for them, to be honest. They haven't really struggled to get a lot of these rounds. They kind of really just fell on their lap almost, because they were just playing smart CS, and Tainted Minds didn't really know how to hold together in that first half. But now when the going gets tough, you really get to see what they are all about. Are they going to call pauses at decent times? Are they going to not use them at all? What do they do to try and adapt on their buy rounds? Are they going to be the team that go aggressive? There's a lot of very open-ended questions that really define playstyles as well that will be answered relatively soon. The immediate round, though, there really isn't too much left to discuss. This should be an equalization point now for Tainted Minds. As Darksided, they are on just P250s and CZs.
Should be easy enough here for Tainted Minds. The first kill will prove that. I think able to find something towards the A site, however, has the opportunity to go retrieve a gun. Doesn't quite go for it, expects another player towards Palace. There's 4 people are sat towards the top of mid. 1 player also pushed up, that will be Liaz. Eventually falls back to join the rest of his team as Dick Stacey won't even peek that mid window. Instead, we'll just sit back with that CZ, not worth challenging. Crosses back towards the A site. And this is where Tainted Minds begin their execution here. They look to try and push towards the A site. Sink, the only line of defense as Dick Stacey rotates, so a bit of a misread here. All going to be down to that 1 P250, 60 HP. A flashbang as well to work with, and he's going to have to use this effectively. So we are going to see Tainted Minds edge their way towards the A site here, getting themselves out. The footsteps are heard, and that prompts the rotation. Sync gonna have to peek out. They don't know his position just yet, but they've been to close things down. Excellent discipline from him. Gets 2 off of the back of it. That's great play from Sync. Gives his team a chance going into the round. Infrequent only on 3 HP. Liaz is gonna be on 100. Dick Stacy goes to the shot through the smoke, and it crumbles for Tainted Minds. Against all odds, Darkside have pulled themselves back into it. Now down to Liaz. Has to find 2 more, but somehow Dick Stacy gets another shot through the smoke, and Darkside managed to close out that round. Tainted Minds making a huge mistake there.
I have no words, honestly. How does that happen? How do you give them that round? Thankfully, they built up enough money over time. There's a reason why we stressed that as being a big thing. That will save them quite a lot now, because they can spend a lot of that money to buy up the AWP they need, buy up the rifles, get full utility and such, but that's a pretty big swing for Darksided. It goes back to that 9th round we saw in the first half, where Darksided really are the ones in command now. And if they can keep it together and get themselves a second reformed CT side, then I'm impressed. Willem already starting off strong with that early pick. This really spells disaster right now for Tainted Minds. They try and push further up mid, but Texter, in this angle, he'll flash himself out, go for that peek. That leads to just another frag. Dexter, though, takes it upon himself to find the trade, and that's some nice intuition from him, as it does lead to the frag on towards Flicks.
The healing has been done for Darksided. They've got themselves back in it onto a gun round. They're a player down at the moment. Tainted Minds have somewhat of an advantage, so Darksided, the early pick from Badge will help them out, but it's not quite enough as of yet. Tainted Minds still have an advantage. 2 rounds difference between the team. Darksided maintain their lead, if only just at that. As we saw in the previous round, Tainted Minds look likely to take it, but Darksided, of course, pulled themselves back with a lot of nice shots through the smoke from Dick Stacy with that CZ. And now going into this round, I wouldn't expect anything less from Darksided. You expect them to take it out, but it's been turned around. As they're at a disadvantage. Tainted Minds go towards the B site here, pushing their way through the smoke towards apartments. Dick Stacy will be there as the defense. We've seen him do work previously, just jumping up. It looks like he may have heard a footstep there, not too sure. Eventually spots out the players, and now fails the Molotov as well. Or did he hit it? I'm not going to see, but able to get that first kill. Offnu with the trade now. Back to a 2v3. Sing spots out that player. Waits out, uses the trigger discipline, won't take the shot just yet. Trying to wait, see if he can spot this guy out. It looks like one of the T-side players has spotted him. Sync with the first, has to keep his mind on the second player. Plays it perfectly now, while mortifying, but he can't get it, as Infrequent manages to close it out. Tainted Minds, they're not out of it yet. Darksided, they look to try and regain their momentum in that previous round that they won. But once again, we're back to square one here.
100% Darksided, they have so little to play with as well that they do run the risk of giving Tainted Minds another equalization point the second they would have claimed in this game. But now though, you have to kind of look towards the CT guy and go, okay, are you going to go close and aggressive? Are you going to try and dictate what this T-side can do? Or are you going to hold your angles? Personally, I favour the latter side. I think you actually have a much better shot at trading away and getting those nice little headshots with a 5-7 if you play kind of just on an angle and wait compared to going aggressive. But it's each to your own, really. Dexter does play well against Flicks, though, and starts to lead to 1. Texter now trying to see if he can tap away as well from stairs, but he's being rushed down by Liaz, and that's concerning. At least they're holding tight in connector, they're not over-facing, and Sync getting a drive on towards Liaz at least holds something a little bit closer. But Willem, Tap's not quite finding their way through. Texter struggling as well. This is when things start to fall apart.
Certainly does see the bombs down for Tainted Minds. Darksided locked towards connector and A main. Only an AK-2 up on Texter and a P250 on Sing, but Infrequent with a lovely shot is able to already eliminate that AK. Badge there to try and recover it, which he will do, and they'll get out of there with those weapons. They don't want to lose anything else. Darksided, they allow Tainted Minds to equal things out as they move on towards a save here. Grab that AK, get themselves out of it, try and build up their economy for the next round. Tainted Minds are not going to go on the hunt in too much of a hurry. Instead, they'll just sit back in more passive positions, not allow any gaps, however, and just wait things out. Won't be able to find anything, and Darksided get out of it with a AK and a P250. So now, how will they use this to their advantage? They've got a fair amount of money to work with, and eventually we see a match pause come into play. Darksided realize they need to change things up.
I think for Darksided here, what I want to see them do now is be a little bit more reactive to the map control that Tainted Minds are forcing. For example, what we see Tainted Minds do is they'll go for trades out of A ramp, for example, or they'll try and work out mid. I think Darksiders need to prioritize starting to do pushing towards kind of the B side, really start to push on deep, and make sure that they punish Tainted Minds for being very loose in their map control on other sides of the map. Sure, there could be rounds where they push B and they're well met by Tainted Minds who are holding for it. But that's where you have to just try and have that one clear, decisive IGL who's making those calls and has the read, and you just kind of have to hope that things fall together. But if we don't see any of that, then we just go back to kind of what we're seeing now, which is a CT side having to play very, very much reactively to the style that Tainted Minds are enforcing, and also getting traded away at, which is a problem. It's almost a bit of a reverso, considering Darkside, they were a team to do exactly what Tainted Minds are currently inflicting upon themselves.
We'll have to see going forward, though. How things can change up. Tainted Minds looking a lot more promising in their T half, showing the same strength that Darksiders did in their previous half now. It's Darksiders, they buy into this one. They managed to keep that AK from the previous round, force out a couple of M4s, make that 3 M4s, and a FAMAS on towards Sinks. Not the strongest of buyers, but it might be able to get them through the round with a stroke of luck here. So we go into this one, just waiting for the match to be on pause, but Darksiders, something's gone wrong for them. We saw in the previous half, they did absolutely insane work. They were constantly putting pressure onto Tainted Minds, but it slowly began to crumble for them as we saw Tainted Minds pull it back towards the latter end of that first half and carry on their performance in towards the second half here.
On pause, looking like it is going to be coming in from Texter there, just making sure that TM are also ready to go in this one. It seems that they've made their decisions, the calls have been constructed, and now they know what the game plan is going to be. All in all, that leads to one thing, we get to see some more Counter-Strike, but just as we think we're about to get to go live, we do hear about the fact that Church, he's hit a technical issue, and that is going to delay things a little bit further, as unfortunately, Dark Souls kind of takes priority here. It's a good game.
Yep, so Flakes, now that we're into the later stages of this match, which way do you see this going? Because, of course, you coming from the UK, you don't have a great knowledge base on these teams, but from what you've seen throughout this match so far, who would you give it to? Who would you really say is a dominant team that looks to try and go forward and push out the other team from this match?
I think Darksiders have definitely played better. Like, even their CT side, I think they've definitely been the stronger team, but at the same time, you have to give credit to Tainted Minds for their mental game. They haven't given up at all, and they have improved their T-side drastically over time that has allowed them to rival off up against Darksiders. So I think both of these two teams have their own strengths and weaknesses, the pros and cons. However you want to put it, you can't take, you take one thing away from them and give it to their opposition, and vice versa pretty much. So who's going to win? Very tough question to ask. I think Darksiders, they deserve it, but the same can be said for Tainted Minds on the way that they've played out the second half. For now, what are they actually going to do? Well, they're going to try and walk out on towards B. A bit of an issue, but the trade does come in by Leaz, who actually doubles down with off-new support to find the frag on towards Dick. Willem is going to be there to throw just another flash to allow him to get just another entryway. The drive-by dropping the bomb, going more for Hunger on towards Infrequent. Dexter does get the trade yet again, though. A headshot, a flyby. But can he find the second on towards Dexter? Yes, he can, leaving us all on flicks. Coming in from short, has a good angle, but doesn't have any information on where these guys are. The bomb is going to be dropped, though, but Norb looking dead set at him. That's a flick that Infrequent will find. Tainted Minds, they take the lead.
For the first time in this match as well, we're going to see another pause come into play here. Not quite sure whose side it is on, but we'll find out soon enough. And Tainted Minds, it's looking great for them. Darksiders, it crumbles for them. I mean, like you said, they probably deserved the win, basing off the way that they played in that first half. Same could be said for Tainted Minds, the way they fought back into this game. It's an interesting conundrum we have on our hands at the moment, because it's been a great match of Counter-Strike for both teams in certain points of the match. Never both at once, but first half belonged to Darksiders, now the second half belonging to Tainted Minds. But really, we should see both those great moments try and collide, so we can see a little bit more collaborative play, something a bit more competitive, as it seems to be very one-sided at either stage of the game.
One thing you have to identify is just how broken Darksiders has been. So many times now have we seen them just on these ecos. It's been a real struggle for them to build up their economy at all in the second half, and that's something that Tainted Minds have very much taken control of. They're dictating what rounds they can actually play Counter-Strike on. It's perfect for them to be able to do that. Texter now deciding, you know what, I've just got to rush it, man. I've got to go full YOLO, but unfortunately, you don't only live once. You're going to live a fair few times, but that doesn't mean you're going to get anything done in this round. It's going to be just a complete and utter whitewash. This 25th round, that's the next life that you can try and handle.
We're gonna have to wait and see. We'll see Badge able to take down Offnu here. But a 2v4 not likely for Darksiders. They've still got a lot to find here. This Flicks will drop towards Connector, down to Badge, set out towards Sniper's Nest. Damage will be taken through the smoke there. And it suddenly looks pretty dire for him. Has to try and find something. Can't even take a gun out of the round, really. Unless he's able to get something on this short jump. Pretty sure that gave away his position there, as we do see a couple players posted towards short. Pushing their way out here, and they'll be able to find that kill easy enough. 13-11, Tainted Minds pull themselves ahead here, separate themselves from Darksider, and show that they're here to compete, and they've done so brilliantly in an epic comeback story.
It really has been perfect from them. They've been able to chain up these rounds. Now, if they break Darksided again here as well, then we are looking at perhaps the culmination of this first map, as already Flick's going to be throwing down the smoke on towards ramp. Same old for the CT side. Not really doing anything out of the box still. Just having one player handle on towards mid. That is going to be Will, of course, and his AWP. Tainted Minds just somewhat kind of relaxed it. Not really facing towards mid either, they're just kind of holding for the push. They've got the bomb ready over on towards Amp, and this feels almost like the pistol round they did. It's a contact A play with two stems of attack culminating in mid, underpass on top of mid, both combining in towards Connector, then they'll converge on towards the A site with the support from Ramp. They'll get the Plum Plant inside of the smoke, and it's a very hard thing for Darksider to handle. Thankfully, they do have 3 players on the site, so it will be at least manpower that can kind of potentially save them. But it's just that, potential. And considering Tainted Minds have just got away with the boost, completely unscathed, that's a big win for them. Oh, Willem, you've really got to hit those. Missing a crucial shot, allowing Bubsy now to push on through. Hopping around the place, shot still being missed. Willem finally finds one, but the second off the cards.
Tainted Minds shutting Darksided out. Flicks with the response, however, will allow Tainted Minds to take some damage. Dexter already with the trade, however, leaves it down to Nick Stacy. Seeing some pretty good performances from him in this game so far, but he's got a lot of work to do on his hands. 19 HP, gets that first kill, but really not enough at this stage in the match. Spots out the second, almost takes it, gets the dink in, but it's not enough, as we will see Infrequent take him down here. 14-11 and Darksided. It's been an interesting turnaround, because for them, they look so strong, and all of a sudden it crumbles. The CT side obviously not strong for either of these teams on Mirage. Having Tainted Minds come up second on this T half has been beneficial for them, and they look to try and close this one out fairly quickly. Darksided forced their way into the round. 2 for Masters, UMP and 2 M4s. Not the greatest of buys once again for them. Only carrying, no, not even carrying a kit here. So interesting decisions from them. Dick Stacy gets one. Dexter looks to try and follow up with a second there. Can't get it towards jungle. Said Infrequent will be there to take that one out. Dick Stacy gets a kill somewhere in there. So does Dexter. Dexter instantly responds, however. 2v2 now, and Darksided do well to fight their way into the round, but it's still looking like if you Tainted, it's a quick turnaround. However, it's all down to Dexter. Already 2 kills into the round. Needs to try and get 2 more to make it 4.
A good position, though. Should be able to take the fight on towards stairs if he so needs, though. Thankfully, Sync is looking on towards jungle. Bomb is going to be picked up. He is spotted out as well. Dexter looking like he actually wants that fight, but Sync, he's not going to give it to him. He's waiting to play with his teammate here. Team play being the statement of the hour for Darksided. They are just going to be ever so patient. The cross going to be held in check. The bomb, of course, needs to find its way on towards that site relatively soon. I think 45 seconds is a lot of time, but he doesn't want to be in a rush, and I think that's the biggest statement you have to look towards there. As Sync still waiting for any sort of salvage jump or stairs push. Willem just making sure there is no wraparound coming in towards mid, as Dexter's taking a lot of time here to really make the decision on when he's going to plant and how he's going to go about this. Bear in mind, he does have a Tech 9 in his back pocket, which is going to be crucial if he does get pushed at close range, as it means that if the AK shots don't connect, he'll just whip it out and try and make the best of what he's got with that weapon instead.
Lurking here towards jungle. He's going to have to find both of these players. Spots the first, and as he retreats, Badge is there to trade things out. Darksided win an unlikely round. Didn't have the greatest of buys, but somehow they managed to get that one on the board now. A little bit more hope for them going forward, but still a long road to go, as Tainted only need 2 rounds to take out the map, and it's been a very interesting matchup so far, being constantly back and forth, and there's been no real victor throughout it. Of course, Darksided dominant on the first half, Tainted Minds dominant on the second half, and now we sort of reached a stalemate as Darksided forced their way back into the game here. 2-round difference between them. Dick Stacy spots out Dexter, but he runs around the corner and gets that one tap there. Flicks takes down Leaz, gets a second as well, eventually traded. That makes it a 3-on-3. Tainted Mind's favored in this situation as the bomb goes down towards the A side, and they flush Dark-Sided out. Smoke blocking CT as well prevents 2 players from even getting a foot in towards this site. Tainted Minds got a huge advantage here.
And feeling very comfortable now in the positions they hold. The smoke on CT, though, will eventually fade, and that'll buy time for Dark-Sided to then try and go for a swift attack, as a flash will be thrown over the boxes, pretty much ready for the smoke to fade. Well, Offnu, he's holding for that jump peak. Infrequent already finding one with the ADP. Offnu's still holding the angle, gets himself just another headshot. And it is going to be Tainted Minds to secure their first map point in this series.
And now Dark-Sided, they need to step their game up. The economy is weakened as well. It's all or nothing for them. Very close to dropping this first map here, and it's not what you would have expected considering it was a 10-5 half. Dark-Sided only finding 2 rounds in towards this half, whereas Tainted have found 10. Now going forward, Tainted, they only need 1 round to win this one out. And then we'll move on to our second map. Tainted Minds push towards that B site, looking to close things out nice and early. Dick Stacy with the CZ. Going to be difficult to hold off 5 players. Can't even find one. And this should secure the deal. Sync's got a lot of work to do, but he will fall as well. Now a 3-on-5. Leo's on low HP. Will be Badge trying to push his way out there. Can't find the kill. Texter caught in the Molotov, and this basically seals the deal. All down to Flicks now. And Tainted Minds, they should be able to take this one out with relative comfort.
Flicks, the last man standing, not really too much he can try and achieve. They're stuck towards market. Frag coming in any second. There you have it, Bubsy. Gonna steal that one away. The final score will be 16-12 in this first map. And what a game it certainly was. Of course, these teams battling out for over 15k up for grabs in this league, with a top 4 land spot as well taking place over in the studios in Adelaide. And I mean, Goldie, tell me what this is all about, right? Because I look at these two teams, I look at the standings. Right now, it feels like only one team really have a shot. But a lot can change considering the amount of games that have been played.
Well, it's early stages in towards the league so far, so you just get a general idea from these first few weeks. Nothing can really be determined from what we've seen so far. As you look at this league, you've got 8 very, very strong teams. Of course, I don't believe Tainted Minds or Darkside were in the season previously, in the first season. Definitely not Tainted Minds, I know that for a fact. Darkside I'm not so sure on, but still, you know, there's a lot to be determined here. It's only early weeks, so I couldn't really make a comment on whether any team could secure a land spot.
Oh, fair play to you. Either way, folks, we are going to head to a very, very short break as these teams get ready to battle off in a second map, as things are going to head over on towards Sunnyside Inferno. We'll see you in just a short few minutes. Until then, enjoy the music. Have fun. Welcome back, folks, to the AOC Cyber Game of Premier League Winter 2017 season with 15k up for grabs. A LAN final, of course, taking place over in the studios in Adelaide. It's going to be an exciting one. It's going to be a big adventure for a lot of these teams taking place in this league, but it's about time we kick things off. I think Goldie's gone able. I think he's gone to go and scavenge for water somewhere, but that's all good. We can work with that. Instead, what we are going to look at is the game at hand. So I'll take you through it. Goldie, when he returns, and that's something that we can at least be excited about. As until then, it is going to be things kicking off with Tainted Minds on the CT side, Dark side over on their T side, as Flix is taking a battle on Banana. Big Stacy gonna tag on away, takes a fight in towards Apps as well. That leads to an early frag for Dark side, as Bubsy is gonna find another with his USB. Dexter pushing nice and aggressive now, Infrequent chiming in with just another. Some good frags being claimed by the CT side. However, they do have one problem. The bomb has gone down over on this A site. Sync now is going to be ready for the push to come in towards mid, and this is a sort of multi-cool lineup I've ever seen one before. But the shot doesn't connect, and he decides to back off and wait for the push instead, which kind of favors Dexter to be able to take that fight and win it. The bomb now going to be stuck. Will pretty much out of this one. Bubsy just going to mop it up and end it. Tainted Minds, they secure themselves the pistol. Goldie, you out there? Is there anyone in there?
Oh, I'm here, but CSGO happens to be crashing on me.
Oh, this has gone well. Well, don't you worry. When you're back in the game, let us know. We'll run with the flow until then at that point. Of course, folks, I know there's a lot of you mentioning about the lag and stuff. There's literally nothing I can do. It's the GoTV, unfortunately. We're having some tech issues on the GoTV side of things. I've got like 600 ping to it right now, which is causing the lag. That's why the kills also show up a little bit delayed at times. And CS has just crashed. So, yeah, that's great. That's happened. Goldie, why did you have to talk about CS crashing? You went there.
So,
are you in game?
I am in game. Would
All right.
you like me to provide some form of commentary on what's happening?
This is a radio broadcast. Welcome
right.
to Cybergamer FM. Take it away.
Alright, so we have Darksided, they're on an eco round, they find an opening kill, that came off of the back of Dick Stacy, now look to push towards the A site. 2 players left as defense on A, 2 players left in defense on B. We do see a player towards the bottom of Banana Flix, trying to edge his way out. Darksided pushing through a mid-smoke to try and wrap around to Archer's side of the A site. Dick Stacy goes a more conventional way and tries to challenge Chuch out towards this pit area. We'll manage to find contact as Chuch fires off a few M4 bullets, and he will find 2 kills off of the back of it. Sync and Dick Stacy are there to drop. Offnu will be able to take the kill on towards Texter. Infrequent finds Flix, and Infrequent closes it out there. Tainted Minds go 2-0 up here early on in towards this Inferno map, and it's looking good for them. Darksided, they're going to get 5 AKs out of this, whereas Tainted Minds, they're going to be sitting on 2 UMPs with FAMAS and M4 and a AWP on Infrequent. Looking good for them. And finally, we're going to see Darksided have some form of a return in towards this map. This is their chance. 5 AKs, not too much utility. They got full sets of armor, but only a couple flashes and smokes on either side for them. So now, we're going to see some early aggression from Infrequent with that AWP out towards this B side. Tries to push down Banana, but he will fall back instead. It looks like Darksided, they'll be taking a much more cautious approach. Texter, Dick Stacy, and Sync all looking to edge towards apartments, whereas Flix and Badge will sit towards the bottom of the middle area. Infrequent wraps his way around, heading back towards the A side. Realise that no one's at B. Instead, we'll leave Dexter and Offnoon to defend the B side. I'm going to see now. Look to push up. Dick Stacy coming down towards Boiler. Texter pushing up through mid. The bomb following closely as Sync takes the upper apartments route. Bubsy, or Chuch I should say, sitting towards the balcony of the A side, trying to spot out towards mid. Won't find anything as of yet, but we'll hear the shots popped off from Sync. Closing in on the A side will be Tainted Minds, trying to defend their way in. Darksided looking for any gap that they can get. First to peek will be Texter, finds contact with Chuch. Can't take the shots just yet, just trying to shoulder peek around the corner and find some form of damage. Eventually spots out the player, takes a little bit of a damage, but really not too much going on in that department. Flix edges his way up Banana, falls back. Dexter hot on his heels, trying to go on some form of a chase here. As Darksided push towards the A site, eventually going to move their way onto it. It's been quite delayed, but they're here now, and they're here to find contact. Liaz with that opening kill towards Texter. Infrequent will find Dick Stacy. Liaz finds Sync as well. Badge able to return things. Flix moves in with the kill as well. 2 on 3. Both of the Darksided players on low HP, but the bomb goes down with only 8 seconds left on the clock. Flix and Badge in a difficult situation. Have to find 3 players all on 100 HP. And a single nade could take them both out here. A player will be sat towards Pit. That will be Flix. Find some damage out towards that player. Can't finish it up, however, as Infrequent will find Badge. Nade out to Flix. Left in a 1v2. Does some damage towards Infrequent. 14 HP in a dream. Can he find anything? No, he doesn't. Dexter shuts him down. And Tainted Minds, they go 3-0 up in this map.
Alright, we're back. Shout out to Valve for making a great game that doesn't crash at all. Appreciate it. Tainted Minds, 3-0 up though, as you say, and it's a really, really good start from them on Inferno, especially considering what we saw kind of in that previous map, so it's nice to see them really be able to get going. And of course, Inferno is a map that you'd like to see in standard CS, in Tier 1 CS. The meta dictates that it's a very CT-sided map, but a lot of times now we've seen some of the lower tier teams play it in a different way, which is a lot more on the aim, and when that really comes into play, we tend to see the T side really kind of lead ahead, because, you know, often not, the skills are often mismatched between these two teams. However, in this case, I think we're going to be seeing a nice and solid matchup of a lot of strategy here, as Tainted Minds and Darksided, they do seem to be able to round off against each other. It's very early days in Inferno, but the Tech9s here, for example, do have a chance to put up a fight. They've got themselves smokes, and that could lead to a very strong execute down on towards this A site. Now, if they can isolate these players, upgrade to rifles, they've got Kevlar to back them. It'll be pretty good.
Darksided seem to be very skeptical about going towards the B site. Haven't taken it once at all from what I've seen, unless I saw something, when, you know, unless something was seen as I dropped out of my game earlier on. But Tainted Minds, a quick wrap-up, only Chuch to fall. That makes it very quick for the Tainted Minds side. Darksided will now go on to a buy. Already a couple AKs in hand and look to do a bit more than that as well. Tainted Minds, however, their economy is so well built up that they have no real worries for the next few rounds. See, you know, quite a lot of money being used on both sides. Tainted Minds still having a lot left in the back pocket. Darksided, on the other hand, not so much. Only, what, $350 in total combined? Not looking good for them. So, Darksided, they need to win this round to keep themselves in it before they go on to the lost round bonus. And Tainted Minds, they're going to sit in a very interesting position. You have Liaz boosted up towards those plant pots. Just going to be sitting up there. Very good position to do some damage. Will he be able to find anything of it here? Gonna have to wait and see. Liaz, what can he do here? As we do see the players look to push towards the A site. Liaz will be set up on top. Top of diggity there. Will flush himself there. And it looks like he has been spotted as Texter will fall to Chuch. And Tainted Minds are prompted to fall back towards the A site after finding the initial kill.
Flick's going to begin to step around the smoke now. Flash as well is going to bide some time for Stacy, who is going to be just somewhat forced in towards Boiler Room for a few more seconds. 40 seconds as well on the clock. Right now, time is the key part of this round, and a cornerstone of Darkside's potential success, as they are going to have to try and spout out on towards B. That seems to be exactly where they're heading towards. They've got an AWP and a rifle leading the charge, but Offnu's angle here could get to keep both of them in check. That jump as well going to be spotted. Offnu now knows exactly what's going on. The flash will come out. Dexter going to play nice and close. Has a Molotov, I believe, in his hands, at least in an ideal world he would. And, well, no, it's a flash, but still, that's a win-win at the end of the day, as the rifles will come in, barging their way on towards the site. The flash does something, but only allowing one pick. A trade coming in straight away. Stacy's doing a fair chunk of damage to his teammates in the process. But at the end of the day, it's a win-win. Infrequent, ooh, trying to find one through the smoke. Does some damage, but doesn't quite connect the frag.
We'll see Liaz take that kill towards the player on the B site. Badge will fall. And Darkseid locked deep into these sites here. And Stacy will fall as well down to Sync. And he's quickly traded out by Liaz and Tainted Minds to kill themselves another round. Really, Darkseid struggling to get themselves into it. Close quarter essence of this Inferno map is proved to be troublesome for them. Haven't been able to find many advantageous routes. Instead, have been shut down fairly quickly by Tainted Minds. And you see, when you get to a map with a structure like this, Tainted Minds really pull themselves ahead and show that they are forced to be reckoned with. Darksided not even putting a single round on the board as of yet.
Frag Grenade's going to rain down towards the bottom a bit. Attempted damage already coming out from the CT side, who are going to be feeling very confident about now. Their mentality is going to be pretty damn keen. Dark-sided, starting to be forced back as well, already looking problematic for them. As they haven't really gained anything in this round already. Tried to have a crack at Banana, but were pushed back by utility usage. Tried to do the same thing towards mid, were pushed back. Finally, they go for this all-in play on towards short. They do get a bit of damage done to them by a follow-up grenade, but Dick Stacy does get the headshot on towards the As. The peak does come in, they're on a trade straight off the bat from Chuch. It's going to be strong as anything, as it means that things go back to a 4v4, and Darksided still have a shot at this as Texter finds just another, but then Offnu combined the double kill, and that is crucial, changes everything, as Tainted Minds are now in control.
The initial advantage Darksided have, I should say had, has now been turned around, and Tainted Minds flip it right back around here now in a 3v2. A huge advantage. The bomb carrier will attempt to go for a push here. That will be Flick Sync, set towards the upper region of apartment. Should be able to spot out a player any second now. A player locked in towards backside will be Offnu. Has to try and find him. Sync. He's being very cautious. Notice the player there. Will manage to find the initial damage, but can't follow it up now. Flicks. He has to take this. Somehow hasn't taken him down yet, and Offnu just cleans up. That should not have happened. Darkside, the confidence has been completely stripped from them in the previous map, and really you can't allow that to happen. Offnu, he spent so long locked into the back of sight. It was such a narrow field of vision, they should have been able to take the kill practically instantly.
Spell disaster right now, really. If you are a Dark-sided fan, forced onto pistols as well is even worse for them. They're just not quite getting the money they need. Also, are in place by Tainted Minds to deny any sort of B push, which is by far the more painful of the two options. As down, they have to try and go work through mid, but the crossfires are in place to deal with that. Lias here, he's going to have a field day going for pot shots with his M4. Frag Grenade as well, doing even more damage, just making life easier for these rifles. It just really kind of leads together to be just so disastrous for Darkside in this round as well, as you can do stuff with Tech 9s, but not when you're getting held up by this much of a structured CT side. I really like what I'm seeing from Tainted Minds right now.
Darkside to take a step back. Ooh. HP going to be taken down quite a bit on the majority of these players. Dexter will find the opening kill, shuts the player out towards Arch, and now it's not looking good. Dexter has to fall back to the B site as Darkside look to try and stomp their way through while they have an advantage. Offnu attempts to try and just slow things down, but he can't do so. Flicks and Badge find those kills and take control of the B site. Pick up an AK in the process as well. That should help them in the long run now. We're going to see two players rotate in from CT. That will be Infrequent and Liaz looking to edge their way in. Infrequent with an excellent CZ headshot. Liaz follows things up. Flicks in there, able to take down Infrequent. Badge finds the kill out towards B. Banana, I should say, and now it's just down to Liaz. 22 HP in a dream. He's absolutely locked in there, can't do anything.
Of all rounds, they get that one. Shocking scenes, but credit to them as well. Being able to find those frags is pretty damn crucial for them as it gets them going. They found their foothold in this game, now they have to climb off of it. But it's looking like Mount Everest in front of them. It's a 5-round deficit already. That's not including the potential economic disaster that could happen by just one round being won by Tainted Minds.
Good peek so there quick from Infrequent. Finds him an early kill. So quick, like you said. And now, just going to fall back. Not going to take anything more. On Mirage, you notice on the CT side, they overextended far too much. Even then, that was a bit risky for Infrequent, but it works out from him. Inferno being a much more confident map for these Tainted Minds players. We'll see Texter wrap his way around here. Could find contact with Offnu. It looks like he had a general idea of where he was as Texter cleans up ahead of Offnu now. That allows Darkside and an opening towards the A site. Still at a man disadvantage. Liaz will be able to finish things up with a UMP. We'll see Chuch follow things up now. Locked in towards the A site and a quick clean up once again. Tainted Minds only dropped 2 players. Darkside get a bit of damage in the mix, but the round that they won is instantly nullified here as they're on the back foot once again. Can't find any form of momentum and are now locked out of the game for the time being as their economy is completely reset.
This is where it strikes. This is where it all, yet again, it goes back down to ground zero for Darksided as they have to make it work with a pistol. Sure, that's where they've done it in the past, but the utility usage has been so on point for this CT side, and Frequent going to get overrun by Tech9s, and will Amashu get another, but the UMP is going to chew him up and spit them right back out again, as Ofnu will get himself a fair chunk, a double kill in fact, looking for more as a smoke will go down in Reflex, trying to stop them from getting free reign on the site, and C sits upon second oranges nice and patiently, as the cross is going to be held by his teammates Liaz and Bubsy. So when they do cross, he can be there to kill them all. Simple as that. The Death Wish wasn't truly so simple for Darksided as well. Texter has an AWP, should probably try and save, but with a minute 10 on the clock, even that feels like a big ask. Frag grenade, in fact, gonna literally just land right at his feet. Don't know what else to say. Tainted Mind, 8-1 up. A very talented CT half. Darksided falling by the wayside. They have themselves money to play with in this round as well in terms of Tech9s and Kevlar if they so choose, but they still cannot afford a fall by, which is the real problem here.
Especially being like that all match though, they really haven't been able to do anything. Even the round that they did win had no real impact towards the larger scale of the match here, is that we're already back to square one here. Only one round on the board in the 10 that we've seen so far. Sync gets an open kill into Leo. It's a good start from them. It seems like Darksided, you know, they're basically trying to take the rounds where it seems unlikely for them to win. We'll see Church return things here onto Sync. Takes to find another kill, and Frequent misses a shot here. Looking out towards Pit. Can't connect the headshot once again. That's 2 shots missed. Make that 3. Can he miss a 4th? He will. Just try to pre-fire it there. Smoke will block them off for the time being. And Darkside, once again, like I said, they look to take the most unlikely of rounds.
Just happens, doesn't it? In these weird and wacky ways that they get themselves something to play with. Bomb ticking away. It looks like it's almost been cemented. A very aggressive push coming out from this CT side, but they're almost running out of steam. There just really isn't much hope they can try and actually win this. Even with 3 low HP players, you're spreading too much on one man's shoulders. As Darkseid, they will secure it off the back of frags. That bomb still going to explode either way. 8-2. Darkseid is still with a way in. Tainted Mind's economy also isn't shipshape, so there definitely is a chance here. But it's kind of now or never. If they lose this, then you start to really get concerned about Darksided and what they can make out of this game.
But who knows, we could see a turnaround like we saw in the previous match. Tainted Minds were in the exact same position first half of Mirage, and they managed to turn things around and win the map. Darksided, now that they have a somewhat strong buy, they could look to try and do the same, but it's all yet to be determined. They push up towards the B site, bomb left towards the back lines here. Nothing much happening as of yet. Dick Stacy and Sync look to pressure towards the A side. Won't find anything off the bat. Whereas the rest of Darksided will have banana control for the time being. Dexter and Ofnu taking a bit more of a passive approach. Ofnu falls back towards CT as well. Interesting choice from him considering he has heard shots out towards this B site. I'm going to see Infrequent here. Sitting in a close quarters position towards apartments. Should hear Sync running around on the back lines. Flick's able to find a kill there with the AWP quickly traded out. And we are going to see him drop towards the B site. Now it's going to be Badge to challenge Ofnu. Looks to make a distraction. Liaz completely flashed up. Allows Texture a bit of room to move forward. The bomb has still been left behind. It looks like Darksided, they're in a bit of disarray. Can't really decide where they want to go. Trying to edge towards too many places. And instead of finding nothing off the back of it, is Badge Beza just walks into the crosshair of Ofnu and allows them a free kill. So Darksided, they need to be more structured if they want to take these rounds. They've allowed Infrequent to actually get through a massive gap here, and he has huge potential to find some kills. Can he come out? He's going to get the first and the second, and that just like that, Tainted Minds regain their dominance shot. Anything Darksided had completely out of the match. And once again, silly mistakes like that. Spending far too long trying to gain map control, spreading out way too far, getting taken down, and allowing gaps like that, where Infrequent can just slide in and clean up with a Mag 7.
It just seems so simple for Tainted Minds. So much of an improvement as well from that first map. Really impressed with the way they're playing. The CT's led. Even just the basics of utility. They're playing together with their smokes, the molotovs, the frag grenades. It's the whole package for me. Darksided, they are forced to go for these big all-in plays towards these sites. That's the way they've won their rounds in the past, right? The only two they've got have been to Rush A or Rush B. Sure, you can argue there's a bit of a contact element mixed in as well, but for the most part, it's elementary CS for Darksided. They just don't seem to have a way out or a go-to. Both sides of the coins completely tarnished away. How on earth did they make something valuable out of this half? We're in our 12th round, and they're already being forced back. 40 seconds or so being left to do nothing at all. They have a lot of banana control, but they have to push the site. Their one time to go is pretty much now or never, because if Frequent rotates in towards CT, they have a serious problem on their hands.
Certainly will have a serious problem here. Dark side push towards the B side. Dexter with the opening kill. Badger to trade things out. And Frequent on the rotation. Be able to find something with the AK sprays. And is able to find Dick Stacy as the smoke begins to clear. That will help him out now. As it will be a 3-on-3. Dark side are at a disadvantage. But they do have the bomb site control. Weapon wise, a huge disadvantage. And Badger just gets caught staring into a corner. A bit embarrassing on his part. As two players storm through the construction area. Molly at the back side, perfectly placed there. His Sink will also fall down to Flix now at Banana. He's able to get 2. Flix somehow brings it back. Can he get the 30? That would be an insane clutch. And Frequent on 4 HP. Has to get the diffuser. Can Flix find it? Taking pot shots. They're both on such low HP. And Frequent doesn't have the time to defuse and he takes it. Flix, what was that?
Incredible play coming out from Flex there, finding a few frags through the smoke, finishing off with the final clutch kill required as well. Will accelerate Darkside up on towards their third. Give them something worth fighting for, perhaps. But still in the 13th round, they have a long way to go. They need 6. To be blunt, they need at least 5. They can't sit on 3. They can't sit on 4. That's not good enough. Time to go. Time to put it into 6th. You need to make this happen.
Certainly do need to have a bit more of an impact here. That round was a good start, especially off of a play like that. Flix might weaken the confidence of Tainted Minds in the slightest. 2 P250s and 2 UMPs isn't exactly the most convincing of buys from the Tainted Minds side, but still, with the way this match has been going, anything could happen. They could take the round for all I know at this point. It's been very confusing in that department. Teams taking unexpected round. Darkside are finding 2 rounds where they're just on pistols, and eventually they find one off of a consolidated gun round, and now it's looking a bit better for them. Need to have a bit more of an impact before the half ends, like you said. Now or never, need to have a little bit more damage in here. So we do see Flix peek out towards the B site. The rest of Darkside push towards the A site here to try and lock things down. No players dropped into the round yet, no damage being done. Eventually, Frequent with that first kill, can't get the second. Texter will trade it out, but Dick Stacy gets a team kill. That is so unfortunate. And Frequent laughing in the chat there. And 2 players still left on the defense at the A site. Darkside are temporarily slowed down by that team kill. And it gets a bit more difficult for them now. A little bit more complex than what we initially saw. They have to try and take this. Rotations coming in from Tainted Minds will make this take just a little bit more difficult for Darksided. Flix with that first kill, that's a good start. Looks for the second, will connect a few shots. Has to take it, however, as he will close things down with the help of a teammate. Back to a 3v2. And at one point in Darksided, they were looking at a disadvantage, but now it's looking a bit more sunnier for them.
What they have to do is cover off the last 2 players off the city side, and they have themselves their 4th, the gateway to their 5th and 6th. It all starts here. The flash comes off, the push begins. 1 to fall, the second soon to follow. Willem, the man to do it all. Darksided, they get themselves around, all in all secured, all in all happy days. And they finally have broken Tainted Minds. They sit upon a chest of 2,000 or so bucks, which I'm sure many at home will be thinking to themselves, 2,000 bucks? I'll take that, that's pretty damn good, right? But at the end of the day, for Tainted Minds, that's nowhere near enough. They can't afford anything with that. The team house has gone default. It's all gone a bit awry. Now they have to relax for a second on these USPs, on these P250s. Darksided, they have themselves a team they can try and exploit now.
I certainly do. Tainted Minds heavily weakened here from these previous rounds, and Darksided putting their foot back into this match will be a huge confidence boost. Should prove to be an easy round for them. Dexter already taking damage. He's forced to fall back, has the information, but it's really not going to do much good for the Tainted Minds side in the long run here. As we do see Darkside push up towards mid. 3 players to find towards the A side. A crossfire being set up between Liaz and Infrequent here. Just going to be sitting in. Could catch Texter off, but he will find the first point of contact. Expecting the crossfire. Allows him to get the second. Clinically played by him. And now only 1 more player to find towards the A site. That will be Chutch. Finds contact with Sink. He will fall. Flix looks to try and finish things up, and he does. 2 kills for him in the round. 2 kills for Texter. A kill for Sink. And a very quick round from Darksider. A much better half from what we initially saw. And a similar... You should say a similar result from what we saw in the previous map, as things have been turned around, just in an opposite direction.
They've just made better out of it, and it has, exactly as you say, a direct clone to what happened in that previous map. But it's nice to see, because it means we have a real fight on our hands, a brawl, ready to build on up. But at the end of the day, that aggression has got to explode somewhere. Banana seems to be the point of contention in this round. Both teams will face off, and both teams will lose too. But who's going to lose their third? That will sway who can actually get on towards this B site. But smokes being placed by Tainted Minds will actually hold a whole lot. As Darksided, they're going to be hesitant to push those. Sync as well, being over on towards A, he could open up that A site and make it happen. He just needs to basically find that first rag that will lead this A site to pretty much pry open like a flower.
Have to see here, Dark-Sided. In the 3v3, only one player left to find towards the A site. Bubsy/Chuch has that potential to make a rotation anytime soon. Utility's still looking good for him. Liaz does have a smoke and a flash to work with here in this pit area. Quickly taken down by Sync. That will prompt these players to begin to move as Flix looks to try and take Chuch. He's able to do so well, and it's down to Infrequent now. Doesn't have his weapon of choice, the AWP. Instead, we'll have an M4 and no grenades to work with. However, it is the last round, so he's just going to have to make some form of an attempt and hope he can do some damage here. We'll try and come out of the arch area, and it isn't able to find anything. 9-6 is the scoreline. Dark-Sided, they do well to pull themselves back into the game.
Yeah, much better half overall. I think 6 rounds is exactly where you want to be on your T side. Tainted Minds 9, they're not going to be overly happy with it considering the context of how they got there, but they kind of have to suck it up and hope that their T side lives up to par. If Dark-Sided get pistol here as well, you've well and truly start to sway them towards getting the map win. Because everything will link up towards them, and Tainted Minds, you basically have to decide, is their T side going to be strong enough? Historically, I don't say it will be, but I guess we're about to find out.
Have to see. Dark-Sided, they had a very strong T-half on the previous map, so that might play into their favour when they go into the second half. I should say Tainted Minds, to go into the second half. Both teams had strong T-sides in the first map. We'll see if that plays out. A similar result here in this second map. Tainted Minds still have a 3-round advantage, but will it be enough for them? Dark-Sided onto the CT half. Now Texter down to 11 HP, sitting out towards that CT spawn area. As Ofnu will push up through mid, and the rest of Tainted Minds storm on towards A. Badge locked into sight. A player in towards the pit area is able to find one, but Tainted Minds lock things down. Down to Texter, gets locked in by Ofnu. Now, going to be down to a 2v4. Flix and Sync, a lot of damage to do here. A huge task on their hands as they attempt to move them through Diggity. Spot a player towards Boiler. Flashbang will actually prove to be useful, but Sing somehow finds 2 there. Interesting choices there from the Dark-Sided team. And oh, now we see things get a lot more interesting. This is going to be down to Chuch on towards this A side. A quick turnaround from Dark-Sided. It won't be enough, as it will be Chuch able to close things out, but it's looked somewhat hopeful for a second.
I think that's a fun way of putting it, somewhat hopeful. And it kind of sums up really the feelings of both these two teams as they try and make it work in that pistol. But unfortunately, Tainted Minds, they did move ahead, and this is a huge boon for them, as it can really elevate them and create a gap between them and Dark-Sided, which starts to make that CT side performance, although it exists, a lot harder.
Waiting now. I'm going to see Tainted Minds slowly push towards the B site. Fire being returned on either end. No damage really being found. Flix and Texter, a little bit inflicted to them, but not too much to worry about at this point in time. Liaz set out towards apartments, attempts to edge his way forward, but can't find anything as of yet. The rest of Tainted Minds push towards B. Texter there is that main line of defense, just shoulder peeking out. Eventually spots the flashbang and tries to take a pot shot. Can't connect anything, however, as he now retreats towards the shadows of the back of sight. Setting towards new boxes, will peek his way out, can't connect the headshot once again. The aim not good with 5-7, Sync with 1. Dexter, quick to trade things out. Now just going to be down to Texter, locked into the back of sight, but Dexter once again finds the Galil kills. Jeez, Dexter and Texter has been confusing me. Going back and forth with those names is difficult.
Yeah, it's certainly something that throws you up and down, doesn't it? As often we'll find ourselves just another run towards Dex Stacy, leading us up to this very uncomfortable pot for Dark-Sided, as they literally just spin around on a spindle, pretty much, just trying to see if they can make something work. But Dexter is going to find himself just another, and this almost looks easy as pie now for Tainted Minds, as they deal with the pistols pretty damn comfortably. This is going to give them their 11th, which starts to move them closer and closer towards the culmination of this series. But Dark-Sided, I still have hope for their CT side, and that's where I reserve myself for now. I want to see a buy come out, and that's where we really get to see exactly what Tainted Minds are made of on their TC, because I have a lot of doubts, if I'm honest.
As do I. We'll have to see now. Tainted Minds take yet another round. Dark-Sided, slow start to the CT half. Looked hopeful on the pistol round, but couldn't find anything out of it in that second round there. It was basically all in Tainted Mind's control. I'm going to see Darkside just stick to a couple of pistols and not going to invest anything too heavy into this round as they attempt to try and save. Whereas Tainted Minds, they're going to stick to lower end UMPs, Max 10 and the Galil. Only one AK being found as they know the strategy that Darkside are going to undertake. So we do see things slow down a little bit for Tainted Minds, not getting overly aggressive at the start here. Darkside attempts to take that angle, flicks. We'll find the first point of contact. Actually, the flash will play in his advantage, but he can't make any use of it. Instead, Church will take him down and push their way forward towards the A side, wrapping around towards Archers, and eventually trying to get towards the A side. Dick Stacy pulls in through Library, but they have it completely covered off somehow. He's able to find some damage there as Badge will drop. And now it will be off to try and find Sink and Texter. Peeks out of Boiler, but has to fall back here. A very dangerous angle to take.
Oh, Leaz is just literally cleaning house with them right now. UMP doing so much to fragment it as well. The supportive weapon in that fight. Tainted Minds, they're literally going to double up on the scoreline here. And that is absolutely perfect considering where they currently sit in this game. Gives them a lot of rounds to play with if Darkside do start to make it work on their CT side. But if they don't, it makes things even easier for them to close it out. Bear in mind, Tainted Minds, they're in a pretty good spot to get themselves another win here. It'd be pretty crucial for them as well in terms of their run for the LAN finals. I know, as you said earlier on, it's very early days and there isn't too much you can read into. But at the same time, you do want to kind of look at it and go, you know what, it's good to start somewhere. And considering Tainted Minds have played one match already and got themselves one win, getting yourself a second win surely seems like a good plan, because it would move them to the top of the board.
It will be a good start for them, of course. Securing a position like that early on to the league is always going to be beneficial. You move forward to the later stages. But Darkside, they have a lot to prove going into this one. They've been a team to watch over the past few months, showing huge signs of potential. Of course, travelling to London only a few weeks ago and putting up some fairly competent results against Godsend, and now going up against Tainted Minds, they struggled a little bit, unable to close things out as of yet. Texter will be able to find Offnu though, so that's a good start for them. Falling back towards the back end of the site, Liaz takes down Sink. Texter quick to return with yet another, but Dexter eventually will take him down. Once again, Texter-Dexter combination, so it will be a 3v3. Darkside in a good position to go for a retake, but not now, as Infrequent snaps up that kill towards the mid area. Players rotating in from CT for Darksider, but it shouldn't be enough at this point in time.
Flash is going to go through the smoke, trying to see if they can buy time. Make this push happen. A Molotov going to go down. That's crucial. It means the Flix is burning away in the flames, taking so much damage, even if he finds the shot. Infrequent now left to 1 versus 1 and clutch it all. CZ out as his sidearm, pushing up nice and close and personal. Goes for the headshot, connects the second and third shot as well. And that leads to a kill. Tainted Minds, they go 13-6 up in this game. Darksided really struggling. Their economy is in smatters. There is no way they can save this from going to 14-6.
They could. They certainly could, but it's going to be difficult in the situation that they're in. 357's a CZ and a Scout isn't much to work with, especially when you're going up against 4 AKs UMP and an AWP. Infrequent with, once again, another strong opening kill off New Moser, and once again, Infrequent follows it up with a second, not a third, however. Eventually, Liaz comes to save the day. 14-6, Darkside, they go for a rush into that round, and it comes to no avail. 14-6 now. It's looking very dire for Darkside. It looks like they just sort of barreled into that round without any form of tactics. Just go, okay, we'll rush mid and Banana, why not? Try and do something. Try and build up some form of money. They've got enough to get a buy into this round, but are leaving it very close.
Molotov's going to burn away in towards Banana. Blocking. And then he Tainted Mind rush. Text up. You can see him wanting to peek, but he's completely blind. The push comes in. A nice little trade should be there from Sink, but how much can he actually achieve as the Molotov stops him from falling back? Dexter waiting for any sort of apps aggression. Stacy would have been heard out on the jump up towards quad. Flix is going to peek to cover off that mid push though and be in crossfire with his teammate. Tainted Minds, they hold the edge, but how long for? Playing this game quite literally on just a perfect balance. Only 2 more to close out this map. Now, they've got the ramp, kind of the map control, sorry, that they need, but they have to start to do something with it. What they also need to do is flash out on towards long as well, just to kind of stop Flix from getting free roam right now. Multi coming out is a good play, but you're not able to find a frag. Willem is going to get so much to do here. The spray, so strong. As he goes for a triple, Dick Stacy gonna steal it away. as Dark-sided, they do make it work.
Well played by them now. The road to recovery has begun, but still a long way to go for them, as Tainted Minds have plenty of money to work with here. Should even be able to get a buy out of the following round if they do so happen to lose it. But we won't count them out of it just yet. Dark-sided go on to a full buy now. Actually get an AWP as well, so a bit more positive for them. And Infrequent with an absolutely amazing headshot towards Banana. Texter stood right out in the open, allows his head to be absolutely shaved off. And that allows Tainted Minds a good start in towards this round. Frequent, a little bit of return damage is made, but it doesn't manage to take him down, so that still leaves the player on the battlegrounds for the time being. Dick Stacy attempts to take up an aggressive position along with Sink, who's there to back him up. Holding on to Banana for the time being. Chutch sitting at close range. The loss doesn't look like they expect it for now. Except we will see Chutch spot out that shadow. He'll be able to get one and a second. Chutch cleaning up, and that gives free reign towards the B site. The only player left even close to contest will be Willem/Badge, but he's unable to get there in time as the smoke goes down. Liaz takes down Flicks, all down to Badge now in a 1v3 with an AWP. Dire situations here for Dark-sided. This is the round that they needed. Tainted Minds should be able to take it to map and match point here. Unless Willem can have a say in this.
Gonna tick on away. The push is gonna be held. A smoke as well to go into their own Molotov to extinguish the hope almost for Dark-sided. As we are heading to serious point, there is no more that Willem can do. It's gonna tick on away. His life hanging on a thread. Can he escape is the only real question in this round. He holds the angle, he gets himself a frag. That's about the only silver lining he's got in this one.
Yep, but it won't result in a better outcome for Dark-sided. A kill up won't really do much for them in such late stages of the match, especially at such a huge score deficit, 8 rounds down, and Tainted Minds only needing 1 to secure this match. So Dark-sided, this is our last lifeline in towards this matchup. Can they have any form of impact to try and delay the incoming win from Tainted Minds? We'll have to see here as we go into the 23rd round. Tainted Minds once again on a strong buy. Dark-sided not so much. Going for a very aggressive B push here. 2 players to find towards the bottom of that area. We'll see Badge attempt to go for a wall bang, but he can't find it. The Molotov blocks them from pushing any further. Eventually we do see the peak come into play. Checking out towards logs, can't spot anything. They do know there's a player sat there, however. Badge is being very slow with this peak. The smoke towards the bottom of Banana will delay things. Attempts to shoot through it, won't find anything. So the Tainted Minds have a general idea of where an AWP is. They won't challenge Banana any further. Instead, go towards the A site here. Stink and Badge set out towards B. Ready to push if need be. Afternoon with pre-fire through the smoke, won't find anything, but the A site will be the choice for Tainted Minds here as they wrap their way around Flicks and Dick Stacy to find immediately. Interesting that Chutch goes round towards the arch side, eventually falls back and drops the bomb, knowing that he has that. That would have been very dangerous for him. Chutch is able to find the kill at the corner. Texter with 2, and it turns around for Dark-sided. Flicks with another bit, and Frequent returns fire, and somehow Dark-sided take the round.
They give themselves a lifeline is exactly what they do. They only have 1 round to spare. Not a single mistake can come through, but if they can make it happen, there's still a chance. An ADP on towards Willem, plenty of rifles, they've got everything they need. Tainted Minds, not so much. Different story completely. Alternate parallels now for them. Running at it head first. Pistols in play. Willem finding 1, punishing as well a second if he can find it. Dick Stacy gonna just drop the smoke in towards mid. He's gonna get pushed straight away, but he drops the bomb, and that's already the win condition for Dark-sided now. Because all they have to do is just throw down the Molotovs, block them off, and keep finding the picks.
Quick clean up from Dark-sided, back down to Infrequent now. Dark-sided only losing 1 player, which was off the back of Liaz, so all going to be down to Infrequent, locked in towards Boiler. Couple kills to find here, spots out the first, but isn't going to be able to find anything of it. Spots out the second as well, connects a shot, but it won't be enough. 15-9, Dark-sided pull themselves back into it, but now they're just holding on for dear life, as they've still got 6 rounds to even take it towards overtime. So if they make 1 small mistake here, that'll be all over for them.
So damn close, man. I honestly... This is getting me pumped right now. Dark-sided, they're keeping the dream alive, though, and that's exactly what I want to see in these games. You know, this is the kind of LAN match that you want. You want to hear crowds screaming. You want people to get excited over this sort of CS. Exactly what we all like to see as fans. Stick Stacy starts strong again, getting that first pick. The AWP as well, looking for a follow-up. Well, I'm not able to make it work, though. Offno did get one to trade it back to 4 versus 4. Infrequent and Co. gonna begin to move up through Banana. Smoke still acting as a perfect shroud. Pretty sure someone in my garden right now is going to town, and you can probably hear that. Apologies, but it is what it is. Infrequent, still waiting. Nice and patiently. Bubsy now going to lead the charge as well with the rifles. A core 4 of Tainted Minds, all advancing, step by step, frag by frag. Texter holding the angle, will rear his head. That's going to be a frag for this team site. They find themselves second as well. It is going to be too damn close to cool. Tainted Minds, they have to sight, and that's something here.
Disappoints me that Sync wasn't able to find that kill, considering he had such a perfect lineup. Badge will get flashed, isn't going to be able to find anything as of yet. The smoke boxing off as well. Flicks pushes through, pre-fires, finding the kills. Eventually will find Chutch, but now onto low HP. It looks unlikely for Darkside. This is their last chance in towards this match. Hanging on for dear life. Flicks pushes his way up. 6 bullets left in the mag. Attempts to molly towards the back side. The Orb's going to be doing the majority of the work here. Infrequent just going to be watching it. Gets the first and it's closed out. Tainted Minds take the series 2-0. Darksided fail to impress here.
A great match overall, though. Some very exciting Counter-Strike. Darksided worked real hard to bring it back to this point, but there's only so much that can be done. Either way, folks, that is all. Goldie, any closing words, any interesting statements to be made? As you have to bear in mind, we have a team now in the top spot of the league making some big rises happen.
Look, at the start, I said Tainted Minds would take it 2-0. It's what I expected, but Darksided, they showed so many signs of potential, and that's been the storyline for them the last couple of months, has been that potential, but they've often struggled to put things into place. So for them, it's just about finding their true personality here, and then, you know, maybe starting to close out some of those larger matches against these more top-tier teams, but it was a good effort overall.
A good effort overall. What a way to sum things up. Certainly doesn't sound all that pretty, but it does sound also like it was a little bit more closer at heart. But at the end of the day, folks, that's going to be all from us over here at AOC Cyber Gamer Premier League Winter 2017. A lot up for grabs. A lot of these teams playing for that 15k prize pot. But to get there, they got to keep on winning games. They got to keep on smacking heads. And most importantly, they got to keep appearing over Aussie Gaming TV. So make sure you stick around, guys. Make sure you drop the channel, follow, and everything. Keep on supporting what these guys are up to over here at AGTV, because they're working hard to broadcast to you guys every single game that takes place in Cyber Gamer. But that is all from me for now. My name has been Flakes. I've been joined by Goldie. It's been an absolute pleasure. Apologise for any tech issues that have cropped up here and there. But until next time, adios.